to YouTube.
Wow.
I mean, we
No,
shall.
I'm like, should I look on your channel and see?
Yeah, sure. I can do the same. To YouTube.
Wow.
I mean, that feels like freaking success right there. We
Yes.
can end. We can end right now because success.
Woo, woo.
Well, everybody, you should be seeing us on YouTube. We got here just a little bit early so that you had time to join us. If you want to go ahead and hit the like button so that I know you're here, that would be super duper helpful. Allegedly, there's also a chat. We're going to kind of stay focused on each other, and then I will pop over and look at the chat every now and then. So you'll see me looking to the side. We have with us today the magical Steffeny freaking Feld, who is
That's amazing.
pioneering the entire like direction that therapy is going with intensive. Like therapeutic intensives are taking over the therapy world, and I am here for it. So I'm super stoked.
Yay. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for having me. This is so
Yeah,
fun.
yeah. You guys are going to be hearing a ton about intensives over the next month, and you should tune in because you do not want to get left behind on this train. It's good for you. I'm looking over here because I'm trying to get my notes up. It's good for you. It's good for your clients. I mean, it's a win, 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 win. So please tune in. We're going to be giving you like a little glimpse today into the world of intensives, but there's an entire summit that Steffeny has built out, highlighting really a lot of ways that you can increase the effectiveness that you're having with clients while also increasing the income you're making so that you can live more of your life outside of your work. We're going to be covering things from retreats to intensives, of course, to other online income streams, just a lot of options. Intensives are the focus. And I'll tell you why I think that they're the most logical next step for you. But let's like hop right in. I'm going to ask you to kick us off, Steffeny, with what the heck got you interested in intensives in the first place?
Yeah. Well, it's funny because I first heard about intensives like 10 or 15 years ago. And the first time I heard about it, I was like, that's not a thing. That can't be right. Like, whatever. Like how could that be ethical to just go see a therapist randomly for a hot minute and then get back to your life? Like that can't be right. Right. Like it wasn't even like my brain couldn't even do it. And now I like once I was in private practice, I started coming across people who were doing this really like depth-oriented work where they do either like a full day, like 6 to 8 hours of therapy, or my like preference is like 3 hours, 3 days in a row where like you're focusing on a really specific goal and topic and you're going for it. Like you're going deep, you're all in, the client's in, you're in, and like here we are. And oh my gosh, that just like that works for me. Like that feels good. So the like my definition is like it's an accelerated format of therapy. It's just another format. We're cutting the
Right.
pizza in different size slices. Um, and it helps clients feel better faster.
That's amazing.
It's
It's
amazing. Yeah. Yeah.
I have to say that, and this runs the risk of me kind of putting my own pathology out there, but something that's super attractive to me about being in a therapy intensive as a client,
Mm-hmm.
obviously I've been in a lot of therapy like most therapists, right?
Right.
And I have to confess that I am the client who would late cancel sessions. I paid, I swear.
Right. Same.
I was
Same.
just, I was just like, dude, I don't want to open this crap up this week. Like, I'm having a pretty good week. I don't want to be untangling all of this. And now it's going to screw with my mood for the next several days, or times when I was like, listen, it's not good over here. And
Right. Like I
I
can't open this up today. Like for
don't have
the
the resilience.
opposite reason. Yeah. Yeah. Like I
Exactly.
have clients to see after this, so I can't do that. Yeah.
Exactly. And so the idea for me as a client of being able to be like, all right, you know what? We're going to go in there 3 days in a row. We're going to be focused for 3 hours. I can have my like hour and a half prep where I'm going through my journals and bringing it all up, jump in,
Mm-hmm.
ready to go. I have time at the end to do my reflection and get the most out of that session. And then do that over 3 days and be cool for 6 months, a year, whatever it happens to be, because I know what I need to work on. I
Mm-hmm.
would just like to get in and get it done and not
Right.
be hopping in and out every week or every other week.
You know what just popped in my head?
But
This is probably, I don't know if this is insensitive, but I was like, it's like a C-section of your soul. You're scheduling something that normally happens at its own pace. But you're
and
like,
unpredictably,
I'm
right?
showing up for this right now.
I love it. That's pretty funny.
I didn't have time to think of if that was a good analogy, but it's here. It bubbled up.
Yeah. Well, and at least one of the ways it works is like if you're having a natural birth, you have no idea when it's going to happen. And you could be in the gas station like 50 miles from your hospital,
Right.
right?
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
I know that I've had breakthrough feelings in the middle of a staff meeting when I needed to be holding it together.
Yes.
Get in there and be like, let's do it. Let's unpack this stuff and get it reorganized, put it right back in that closet, and then let's go.
Oh my gosh.
Something about my attachment style is showing up right now. I mean, I have to say too, like as a therapist, I sort of slid into doing what I didn't know were intensives with my clients before I had heard about them. And my clients had just asked, like, could we meet for longer sessions? Because this like 5 minutes where we're going to be kind of getting into it in the beginning of a weekly session, and the 5 minutes where we're closing it up and rescheduling the next session, it just felt like the working time was very short.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had probably 3 clients that I was seeing for 2 or 3 hour chunks. And maybe we would do it every other week or do a 4 hour once a month or something like that. And it was just sort of a natural wish
Yeah.
they expressed for people who really like the deep work of therapy.
Yeah. Yeah. I've been hearing that from more and more therapists and that was my story too. Why I started, someone said, I want an intensive that's EMDR, religious trauma, like with someone who's neurodivergent, like a neurodivergent therapist. And so I only offered it because someone asked me to. And then once I did, I was like, oh, huh, like
This is
this
some
feels
good stuff.
really different. And why do we keep ourselves in these like 50-minute blocks? Like, where did that even come from?
Right.
And I
Where,
didn't realize, like, I don't like that. Like, I never even asked myself, do you like setting up your day like that?
right.
Is that good for you? Is that good for your clients? Like,
Right.
huh?
I can't think of a single client that would say to me that 50 minutes would be the amount that,
It's not even a full-length feature film, you know?
right?
Like,
I mean, they might be like, could we just do this for 25 minutes?
right?
We do
Yes,
this for 3 hours.
exactly.
But I don't
Exactly.
see 50 minutes being the number of minutes that they would pick.
No, either it's like you kind of get to something and you're done, and you're opening something else up that you don't have time for,
Right.
or they're like sliding into it right at 40 minutes or 45, and it's so painful to feel like you have to close somebody back up right when they just access something like deep.
Absolutely.
Ugh, ugh, it just
Absolutely.
kills me. Yeah.
You and I talk a lot about hormones and like navigating our productivity and life around our cycles. And I was thinking about that even with intensives, that maybe you get into like start to get in the deep part of a 50-minute session and you have to close it up, which feels terrible. And you might
Hmm.
just think, oh, well, we'll just get right back into that next week. Well, that's not going to be the case, at least for me, because I know
No.
next week is during my week 2. I'm going to be like, let's talk about organization. Oh, like, there's only 1 week a month where I'm really in a deep reflective
Yeah.
mood for my own stuff.
Yeah, so true. I mean, it's like sometimes it's like you're sending out a client and throwing up a prayer that like hopefully they'll be still in touch and in tune with that same thing next time. And
Right.
most of it isn't. And then you feel like you're just moving on to the next thing or starting back and having to like build back to it. I feel
Right.
like I related to that so much when I was doing like traditional weekly therapy where I'd be like, oh, one step forward, one step back. Like, where are we again? What do we talk about? Like, where are we even trying to go?
Which one of our goals are we focused on?
Yeah,
Like last week we were talking about this deep trauma, but we're not in that place this week. And so we're going to talk about chronic health issues this week, like,
yes. And
yeah.
when you're really tired, I mean, I don't think this is like a popular opinion to share, but when you're really tired, it's sometimes hard to remember which client is which
Mm-hmm.
and which story is which, or like what detail went with what thing. I feel like that's been a sign for me if I'm like burnt out or just too tired or something's out of balance with my life, where someone's like, oh, remember this, sensitive detail. And I'm like, uh-oh, and it's like, that's so not like how you want it to be. You want to be like
Well,
locked in and like, in a heart place.
well, while you're there in that very vulnerable type of share, I'm just going to double down on it because my audience knows, like, I've been talking about perimenopause and perimenopause symptoms for a while. And I just
Mm-hmm.
had this coaching call with one of my business coaching clients. And we were talking about the change in her empathy due to
Oh,
the hormone switch. And I know for me, like, my empathy went way down and my impatience went
right.
way up. And so timing critical sessions during the right window of my cycle
Yeah.
became like a focus for me because I was like, this guy like show up impatient at a session. Like, I need to
Yes.
make sure that these sessions are happening either during a window when hormonally I'm naturally going to be there, or I need to have fewer sessions a day so
Yep.
that I can tap into the emotional reserve that I have. And
Mm-hmm.
that's the thing I love about intensives is you can do fewer sessions and get deeper results for the clients that you're working with. And that way you can follow your own energy levels and your own hormone levels.
Right. Like before that would have sound bonkers. Like I'm similarly, like I have PMDD. So thankfully now I'm like way more balanced. But in the beginning of private practice, there were weeks where my depression would be so much that I'd be like, how can I get on a call with someone? Like, how can I hold space for you? But I don't want to cancel because that is also crappy. Or
Yeah.
the opposite, like I'm irritable and I'm just like, I might say something way too harsh or
Yes.
it's like
Yes.
we're our own instrument, and so it's like I don't want to be super tender and gentle one week and then real like say it how it is the next. Like that's
Right.
so not good. Like that's not
You're going from like
ideal.
IFS to behaviorism. Like, you do it.
And at the time I thought like, well, I have a caseload and it's set. Like it's not like I can see 15 clients one week and 5 clients the next week. Like that didn't compute. But
Yeah.
like now I truly can, which is wild. Like I can look at my weeks. I mean, again, thankfully I'm not having as many, like that isn't my reality anymore. But if it was, I could map it around that.
Right. And same with chronic illness, like that kind of flare up. Yeah, completely. And you can't do that when you have 25 to 35 clients a week.
No.
It's impossible.
Yeah. Yeah. I actually, one of the interviews for the summit is specifically about chronic illness, like
Mhm.
offering intensives for clients who have chronic illness and then as a therapist with chronic illness. And
Mhm.
I won't like give a big spoiler, but I've had this experience. I know other therapists who offer intensives do too. It's so much easier to show up for an intensive with one person when you don't feel great and like slide into a depth place with them than it is to manage a ton of appointments throughout the day.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, well, that totally makes sense. I mean, we know that like just neurobiologically, task switching isn't something our brains are good at. So
yeah,
imagine like just having to switch between the entire depth of experience of 7 clients in a
yeah,
day, when you're already taxed. That's so as we're thinking about this, well, let me pop to the
yeah.
audience for just a second because you may be watching this right now, which is April 30th, a Tuesday. And if
Mhm.
you are, I'm going to have the links in the description for you to be able to grab either a free ticket to the summit to listen to all these amazing speakers, But I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to want to upgrade to the VIP all access path. I'm just going to be straight with you. It is very inexpensive and it gives you lifetime access to all of the materials rather than having to watch each video within 24 hours of it being dropped. And there's a ridiculous amount of really cool bonus material. But if you're watching this on a replay, 3 months from now or 6 months from now, I will absolutely drop a link for you to hop onto Stephanie's email list so that she can update you about other things coming out about Summit so that you can keep up. Okay. Just orienting everybody who's
right. Where are you? What day is it? What time?
What's your name? Who's the president? Okay. So we're talking a lot about how intensives work in terms of saving you time and helping you to manage going deep clinically and getting faster and better results. But we've hinted at like it saves time because it makes you more money. And I'm sure that people are like, but wait, how is it making me more money? I understand that I can see people longer, but how does that make me more money? I'm going to have to put in the same number of hours I would always put in. So what would you say to that?
Yeah. So the exciting thing, I'll say exciting, about intensives is there's so much transformation. It's not like it's happening over 6 months or a year or 2 years. It's so concentrated right at that experience. And for many therapists who might feel a little hesitant to charge like premium private pay rates, that was something that kind of got me over that hump was like, I'm consistently hearing from clients, this is changing my life.
Yes.
I am a different person from when I walked in 3 days ago.
Mm-hmm.
I felt it, they felt it, like it was extremely sacred. And you can charge, like you can choose to charge premium private pay rates. We're talking like $350 and above anytime. There are therapists who do that. That's totally like that's such a personal decision. But for me, once I started seeing that transformation, that's what put me over the hump to feel comfortable that like the value that people are receiving is like it doesn't even match a dollar.
It's
You know what I
greater
mean?
than the sum of its parts. So it's not like
Yes.
you're doing 9 hours of therapy over the course of 3 days. So you should, let's say your rate is $100 an hour. So you should charge $900. That's not how it can work that way if you want it to.
Right.
But that's not how it needs to work. I'm thinking about times in my life where I've really wanted an intensive for myself and what I would have paid to be in it, working hard on it, and then being done was so much more than I would have ever paid to. I don't want to do weekly therapy on this issue. Like, I just don't. It's going to be disruptive to my life. I don't want to do it. So I will pay premium dollar to be able to do the intensive work with somebody who knows how to work on my issue and then be done. I will pay for that service. Thank you.
Right. To not have a weekly recurring appointment.
Right.
There's so many people where that is not accessible. Like we talk about accessibility all the time, like usually specifically around like sliding scale or insurance. But what about schedule accessibility?
Right.
You know, if you're a parent and you have to take your kids to soccer practice every night of the week, or you travel for work, or like you work odd hours. Like there's all kinds of logistic reasons why the typical format of therapy doesn't work for people.
Absolutely. Or even if you think about college kids who are coming home for, between semesters and they want to do the work, but you can't see them when they go back to college because it's in another state. You're not licensed there. And also like weekly therapy is not fitting into
their life. No.
They're student athlete. They're really busy. They want to play with the friends. It doesn't fit in, but they could still be making amazing gains on things that will absolutely change the course of their lives.
And how cool is it like to have a little like post semester intensive reflection? Like I love that.
Yeah. It'd be so cool, Steffeny. We should be having like therapeutic intensives for entrepreneurs, pre and post launches.
Ooh, okay. It's already done. That's happening. I love that.
So cool.
Yes. Okay, that's
Because boy, you get into your feels when you're going to
That'll
along.
hit all your attachment things. Yeah.
No joke. Yeah. Yeah. Every therapy issue you thought you put to bed is gonna pop right back up during
Yeah. Ooh, I love it.
okay, all right. Put it on our agenda
Right.
list. All right. I want to check quickly over at the YouTube channel to see if questions are coming through. Okay, we're good. Hey. It's so good to see people over there. That makes my little heart happy. And I'm going back to my email. So we covered what they are. We covered why I swear by them, my own therapy. Oh, here, let's talk about what kind of clients are ideal for this.
Mhm.
And kind of relatedly, I had somebody ask me a question. I shared it with you in email because they were saying that they always thought intensives had to be like hyper niched, like it needed to be EMDR for
Oh,
trauma, um,
sure.
or something like that, which isn't how I've ever thought about them. So that was kind of neat to hear. So,
Yeah.
what's your take on that?
It's so interesting because I think I'm like I'm a yes and on that.
Yeah.
So I am an EMDR therapist and consultant. That's how I was trained to do intensives. But I firmly believe that any therapist in any modality can be adapted to an intensive format. It's not about what you're doing. It's about the amount of time and the container you're creating. So we
Mm,
have like arcs of our 50-minute session. We're just extending it, we're cutting the pizza in a different slice size, you know? So
yeah.
I'm very much like, to me, it's exciting to think how different modalities and different like client concerns can be creatively adapted into an intensive format. Like, I just love that. Um, and I think when it's a premium private pay rate, from a marketing perspective, it's incredibly important to create a niche offer.
Yeah.
Because if people are going to pay thousands of dollars and
Mhm.
sit with you for multiple hours, a week, a weekend, they
You're not
want
just hanging
to know.
out.
No, you're not, you don't see a generalist for that, right? Like, I'm going to go to the person who I know works with couples who are grieving a loss or, you know, neurodivergent women who experience sexual trauma or like whatever it is, because then I feel confident that like what I'm signing up for can help me. I think I know
Yeah.
it's for me, and I know like this person can get me where I want to go.
That's really helpful to think about. So I have a yes and additional to that.
Ooh.
So like as a marketer, the more you are able to niche in your marketing materials, the more your message is going to land with the right people. But a
Mhm.
niche doesn't have to mean the type of treatment you provide, the diagnosis you treat, a demographic. It can really truly be a personality. You know, like if you think about who you hang with the most and do the best work with. You know, I tend to work with people who are more intellectualizing and they can access their emotions, but they're going to need some help. They might be a little bit, you know, ambivalent about getting there, but they're super into understanding themselves better. And, you know, like I can think of who they are as humans. That's not
Yeah.
the only people that I work with, but the page on my website that I'm writing for them is going to be just for that person.
Yeah.
And that's what's going to get the marketing material in front of them from a search engine optimization issue. So sometimes you're going to hear people going hard at niching, whatever, because we know that it's much easier to get marketing materials in front of people when you do. But that doesn't mean that you need to pick one and that's the only one you ever get to have. You can have
Right.
16 niche pages. It doesn't matter. We just want to get your message in front of people.
Yep.
And when it comes to intensives, I think like, and feel free to disagree.
Yeah.
Because I'm just thinking about in my own practice, when I wanted to go deep with people, they were already my clients, they were already in long term therapy. And what it was there's like an issue that we knew we needed to get at that was part of the greater picture of what we were working on. And we knew that it was going to take like heavy lifting and digging and whatever to get there. And we weren't going to be able to dig it up and to open it all up like a treasure box and explore it and then help them contain. And so sometimes we would do a one-off intensive
Mhm.
because we knew like this issue is going to require more space.
Mhm.
And rather than spending the next 3 years dipping in and out of it, in and out of it in our long-term therapy, it's let's
Yeah.
go in and deal with how you always thought that it was your dad that hated you and screwed you up. But as it turns out, it's really the fact that your mom didn't protect you from him that's really messing with your head. And get
Right.
into that.
Yep.
So I think like there can be, in my mind, different reasons to go into an intensive. And it doesn't always have to be, it's easier when you're marketing it for it to be very, very specific. But if you already
Right.
have clients, sometimes there's just like an issue with them that requires
Yes.
intensive work.
Yes. And I always say, it's easier to start like when you're trying something new, like an intensive, it's going to feel, it feels different. You might feel a little anxious. Start with a client you already know and do exactly what you just said. Like, hey, we've really been trying to address this topic. I know it means so much to you. What do you think about doing an extended session and we can really address it? And usually people are like, yes, definitely. Definitely, I want to do that.
Mhm.
And then you could, so mine are usually standalone, like 3 days, and then, we're done. But there's other intensive models where you could see someone for 3 hours weekly for 10 weeks. So
Yes.
then you still have the weekly thing. It's just, again, cutting the pizza a different way.
I
It's like
love
concentrated over here. Or you do like, I don't know, three days every quarter. Like, there's so much. I know that like freaks some people out when they're like, there's too many options. To me, it's like, try it out and see what you like. Like, I
it.
landed on the 3 days because I like it and it works for the population that I see. But I also tried every Friday for a month. We met for 3 hours, people are trying all different kinds of things.
Well, when you said the like 3 hours for 10 weeks, I was like, oh, like I love going in deep, but I can't sustain that for my own
Ooh.
therapy. But if
Yes.
I know that this is the container and in 10 weeks I'm going to be done and I can hyper focus
Yep.
on this issue for just 10 weeks, then I'm cool. Like that works well for me. I
Yep.
love that. I love
And
it.
then you can, like you said, like you can have distress and then kind of like recover, distress, recover. Like everybody's so different what works for their system. I
Mhm.
like it for my clients that they have a deep work and then they kind of just go sleep it off and then come back and do it again. It's not like they had to re-engage with anything in life in between those
Yes.
sessions. We're just sort of like, it's like surgery. They're still tender. But
Yeah.
some people need to get back to their regular life to kind of like decompress from therapy and then come back to it the next week.
I just love the potential of being able to truly create what's going to work best for your specific client and for your life. Like,
Yeah.
as you said, we are our instrument. And so it's not being selfish to try to orient your sessions in a way that works best for your brain and your energy and your empathy and your strategy, your therapeutic strategy. That is being of service to your client. Because if you're not
Mhm.
doing that work and taking care of you as your instrument, then you're not showing up right for your clients. I'm so freaking hyped about it. I love you so much.
I
So,
think
like,
it's like you don't know until you try it, which I just tell everybody. And the funny thing is, the therapists come back, and the thing I hear again and again is like, I'm hooked. Like,
yeah.
I didn't know. I didn't know it could be like this for lots of reasons. The depth, the transformation, the case notes.
Oh my gosh.
Can we even say like,
I
you
didn't
know,
even look at that.
yep, like from a sensitivity, like you're attuning with one nervous system. One.
Yeah.
Like, do you know, I did not know how hard it was for me to manage the day of time to interact with people who were, their nervous systems are all over the place. And then I'm supposed to just like go home and like settle into my own.
Yeah.
Like,
That,
I did.
Oh, I never thought about that. Like
Yeah.
you're attuning to a nervous system, a new nervous system, a new nervous system all day long.
Right, like that's exhausting. The mental toll of like, oh, okay, we're at 12:30. I have about 15 more minutes, then we're gonna need to wrap up, but do we have a schedule? What did they want to do today? What do I need to do today? And still be present? Like that's
Mm.
a very that's difficult.
Weird that we set it up that way.
Yes, it is. And then when you're doing like when it's extended out, you're just doing it one time.
This is so wild to think about. I had no idea we were going here today, but if you think about it, like this is just a relic from the medical model, right? Like we're going to see a patient in a medical model 15 minutes, 15 minutes, 15 minutes, back to back to back, because that's how we're going to bill. And that's, how we pay bills. But if you were to go back to like, medicine men and women or any sort of more emotionally attuned feeling, I don't know how to put it, I'm not going to get in trouble. I doubt very seriously they were like, okay, so we're going to be at 1 and we're going to end at 150. Like I just don't picture
Yes.
seeing how it unfolds.
And if you do, like, if you take a more heart-centered approach and you're like, I'm tending to people's like souls, like, then that doesn't that's not a good container. Like, have you felt like your office is a little oven and the timers like open the door, take something out, put something in? Like it can feel really, I don't know what that word is, but like, production.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, an assembly line.
Yeah, yeah. And it's like, oh, that doesn't vibe with me.
Huh.
That I didn't know that it could be different. I didn't know I had a choice. I think
Right.
that's what this, for me, it's like I have choices now and I can be creative.
Yeah.
Like if it's art or music or sand or yoga, like Reiki, whatever it is that you love. Because people are like, what do I do for 3 hours? I'm like, trust
Right.
me, people say it goes by so fast. You would be shocked. You just
Yeah.
keep doing what you do. You do your magic. You show up with people.
It's so okay. So a couple thoughts there. With the summit, I hope you guys are watching this in real time so you can come to the summit
It's
because
okay.
just like as Stephanie's talking through ideas, I'm like, oh my God, that didn't even occur to me that I could do it that way. She has all of these speakers in there that are speaking to creative ways that you could approach your practice that our little brains have not thought of because we're all really conditioned and socialized via academia and student loans that it has to be this one particular way. And so just exposing yourself to the variety of ways that intensives could be, or even other things like
Right.
retreat
Mhm.
or whatever. There's somebody in there who's talking about how he does fly fishing in nature as intensives. Do you know, like, I mean, not to call my husband out, but that might be the only way that he's gonna love therapy, right? Like, oh, okay, we can go fly fishing. All right, let's,
We're going
you
on
know,
a fishing trip.
right, right. I bought you something for our anniversary.
That's
I think it's like
amazing.
really going through it and expose. And I'm in there talking about online income for therapists in a variety of ways, like just letting it wash over you that there can be other ways than what you may feel are the limitations of putting your degree into practice to earn your living and to serve the people you love to serve. I think is amazing. And then I'm just going to tell you now that I highly, Stephanie doesn't know I'm about to say this, recommend Stephanie's paid for program on how to do intensives. Because if you're like me, I am a novelty seeker and I get excited about new ideas. And so I could see me being like, yeah, intensives, let's do it. And then the minute that all the details hit, like, well, how do I need to adapt my paperwork? And how do I adapt my messaging on my website? Well, how do I structure the session? Like, what do I put in my notes related to this? Like, is there any way to bill insurance? I don't know. How do I price this out? Like, blah, 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 and then I'm going to shut down and just go
Right.
back to how I've always done it, right? Like my brain's going to be, never mind. This is too much to think about. So just keep your ears attuned to that. I think you're going to talk a little bit about how you do them and how to do them during the summit. But then if you're like, and you're neurotic and you want all the details and all the scripts and all the templates and all the things that will just make it easy to get going quickly, then stay attuned through the end, because I think you're going to
Yeah, yeah,
be letting people into the paid for program towards the
yeah,
end.
yeah, yeah. The doors to my intensive design lab program launch guide are going to open on the final day of the summit. So I'm
Oh,
super
sweet.
pumped. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
nice. Well, that's perfect, because then you guys will have been exposed to all the potential and a little bit of the how to. So you'll know at that point, you're going to know like if you want to
right. Like, is
practice.
this for me? Like, does this light me
Yeah.
up? Like, does this feel right? And I'm the same way. Like, I like to know all the things. And then once I like learn all the things, I'm like, no, I would like to tell other people about all the things.
Yeah. I'm exactly the same. Yeah. And I do want to say something that's just going to be super controversial, but I'm saying it, it's a hill that I will die on. You know, I know that a lot of people are interested in online income outside of therapy, or just building any sort of balance business outside of therapy, which I highly chef's kiss recommend. I think it's great. But um, there's a lot of misinformation on the internet about how quickly that can happen, how easily that happens, etc. And it's misinformation on purpose, because it's much easier to get you to buy a $2,000 package to, over the weekend or over 6 weeks, launch your six-figure online income stream. And it's just BS. It's just BS. And so when you're looking to move in that direction, which again, highly recommend, I
Mhm.
think that the easiest way to do that is to move from seeing 25 to 35 individual sessions a week to seeing fewer clients and earning more money for that. So that might mean marketing to at least some private pay clients. Yes, you can still get them during your sessions, and or moving to a therapeutic intensive model and marketing to higher paying private pay clients for this luxury experience that you're providing, so that you can contain your clinical work and have space available to you to learn what you need to learn to build an online income stream, to do all of the experimentation you need to do to make that actually happen, and implementation, and back and forth, to be able to make that happen for yourself. Because if what you're trying to do is build that online income stream and you do not have the space because you're doing 35 sessions a week, it ain't going to work.
No,
It's
it is
just not going to
not.
work.
That's interesting because we didn't talk about this, but that's literally my story,
Really?
right? Like, yeah, like I had a full caseload and then I started doing intensives and then it turned hybrid, like no, like weekly sessions, hybrid intensives. And then I was like,
Oh,
oh, this is what I want to do. As I shifted to intensives only, that's when I started getting into my like online business, which is
yeah,
like supporting therapists. So literally the summit would not exist. Like I wouldn't, how could I offer anything like this if
right.
I was still doing therapy the way that I've always done it?
Absolutely. In marketing premium therapy, whether it's premium rates for individual traditional sessions or intensives, is so much easier than learning an entirely different business model and marketing that. So I really recommend doing the first thing first. And then if you still want to, you can move in. You might not want to. You might be like, this freedom in my life is good. I don't want to add anything else to it. I'm loving it.
Right. Like, oh, I didn't know I could work so little and like be a human, like enjoy my life,
And be
not just be
regulated.
like only of service to other people, but like,
Yeah.
be receiving, being refilled. We give so much. And it's been such a hard like few years for therapists since the pandemic. So like how many of us just need like a minute to
Yeah. Like
like
some breathing.
get our bearings again?
Do you have time for like a 5 minute aside?
Sure, yeah.
Okay. So I'm just thinking about, I feel like this is related, but my brain's not totally getting all the way there yet. When I started decreasing my client work because I was able to charge higher rates, I remember at the time thinking like, I don't want to see more than 18 clients. And then I got it down to 18 and I was like, I think 15 is the right number. And I got it down to 15 and I was like, 10 to 12.
Yeah.
And I got it down to 10 to 12. And I've never really understood why that happened until you just started talking about like the emotion regulation and like attuning to another nervous system. And then 10 minutes later, when you just had time to pee, attuning to another nervous system. And it almost like when you're in it, when you're in that traditional model, you don't know any different.
Yeah.
And so how you feel just feels like normal compared to how I feel now or how I felt when I had 10 sessions a week. And I was seeing 10 sessions a week for 4 weeks out of the month. And every fifth week, every month I had a fifth week, homegirl wasn't seeing anybody. I was like, let's play in the business, you know? I like physically feel so different. And until I
Yeah.
started talking about that, that just hadn't even occurred to me as a, I don't even know that therapists understand how different their bodies could feel.
Yeah. It's almost like when you look back, maybe this like helps make the connection. Like you look back to when you were in grad school and you were doing like coursework and a practicum and maybe working and maybe like whatever else you had going on in your life, like a family or whatever. And you think like, how the hell did I do all that? It's not like you thought it was great, but you were also just like you did what you had to do because that's what life was at that point, you know? Or like if you're a parent and you think back to like when your child was first born and you're like, I was doing this, that, and that, I slept hardly nothing. Like it's not like you were like, this is the way I want it to always be, but it's just like that's just what it was. And then when you're at a different stage of life, you're like, oh, that wasn't good. Like that wasn't going well. Or that was like that took a toll on me. Um, I think to me that feels similar. Like I look back at even seeing 10 clients a week. And
Mm-hmm.
again, I have like a young kid, chronic illness, whatever. I'm just like, I don't know that I could even do that anymore. I don't think my system can tolerate it because I've shifted so significantly into just a really, really different style of work. And I
Yeah.
think I'm more me.
Yeah.
I know I'm more showed what is engaged. Like when my husband tries to talk to me, I can. You know, I'm not even kidding. Like I'm very introverted. So there were days where like he would he would need to talk. And like, you know, sometimes you're like, people are hoping their husband will want to talk to them. And I would be like, I don't know what to do because my nervous system's still on fire from all the people I talk to all day long. But here's the person I love most in the world who like wants and needs something from me. Like, you know, that's not how
Whew.
you want to be.
Yeah, that's hitting hard. I was just thinking that, I recently asked my two best friends, I was like, can we just like fly somewhere and get together for a weekend? Because like I just need to see your faces and like be with you. And my best friend was like, you have never, ever said something like that. Because I have really kept those people closest to me at a firm, like, I love you, I'll do lots for you, but like a firm distance. And the more separation that I have from not seeing 25 clients a week, it's almost like my capacity for closeness with the people in my freaking family and my best friends has,
Hmm.
that's not good. I mean, it's good that it's changed, but it's not good that it was like that and I didn't even know it. Ooh. I'm gonna say y'all are gonna need to you're gonna need to come to the summit.
Then I know people are like, what do I like, I don't have time. Like, you know, how can I go to the summit because it's, you know, a short time frame. And I think that's why we made the price so low because I know you're busy. I know your brain's full. I know there's so much content out there swirling around. Um, you don't have to cancel your sessions. You can if you want to, and you want to be like super present and engaged, like you totally can, but you don't have to. Like there's different options for the extended access pass, the VIP pass. Um, but it's powerful, you know? Like I was with the speakers, I've heard the content, like it's powerful. The ways we've done things, we don't have to do it like that if you don't want to, if it's not working for you. And sometimes we don't even know if something's working until we, like you said, you taste something else. You know, you're like the frog in the pot
Yeah,
boiling,
yeah, yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, that's perfect. Poor frog. Gosh.
I just came back from a retreat and I like didn't know. Like, oh my gosh, I didn't know I haven't been around green stuff enough. Like living nature. Like my nervous system dropped even lower and I'm like, okay, huh.
Oh,
You know,
oh, made me so
my
happy.
best friend was there too, so it like it was this
Oh,
whole thing, you know, like it was good. But it's
that's
like
amazing.
we just don't know. I mean, when you're like really burnt out, you know, because you're like, I'm not myself. I'm not my best self. This is not the me I want to be. But sometimes we're just in auto mode, and that's how we don't know either.
Yeah, yeah, we're used to it. So
Yeah.
let me give the folks listening the options,
Right.
right? So if they want the free pass, what does that experience look like?
So the summit starts Monday, May 13th. There are 4 days and 24 speakers. So there's a lot of exciting things going on. I do have a summit quiz, so you can take like answer some little questions and get matched with your top presentations. If you're like, girl, I do not have 20, I don't have time for 24 presentations, but they're like about 20 to 30 minutes each. So they're pretty like get them and go kind of thing. Um, every 24 hours, the presentations are going to go live. So day one, Monday, 5 a.m. Eastern for my early birds.
Holy
All of day one is going to get released. It'll be free for 24 hours.
cow. Okay.
Day two, 5 a.m. Eastern, free for 24. Day three, every day of the summit, there's also going to be live panels, which I am like so pumped. Amber's on one on multiple income streams.
Now, is that for everybody? Like the free pass people get to go through those too, right?
The VIP, so yes,
Okay.
free pass. What you get is that those free presentations for those 24 hours.
Okay.
Okay, yes, we'll go in order. I see what
Okay.
you
Yeah.
did.
And I'm
So
putting links
then,
too. So if that's why I'm looking over there.
oh yeah. So that's the free experience. If you're like, I'm busy, you know, 24 hours stress me out. I'm like a time crunch person. I don't want to like I want to know that I can get to it when I want to get to it. Um, the extended access pass, when you first register, it's available for $47.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. For the 20 minutes after you register,
So big
$47.
fast if you want the
The
extended.
extended access. Yep. And what that is, it's all the recordings, lifetime. You're going to get it early on Sunday, May 12th. So if you like, you know, if you're a chill Sunday person, you could use that day to watch them. Um, and you get all of them. You get a private podcast feed if you're more of a like do the dishes and listen kind of person or go for a walk or whatever. And then there's also the like Summit virtual notebook. So that has like notes and takeaways from each of the presentations. So that's the extended access. VIP access. Now let's talk about the VIP.
You want the VIP, trust
This is
me.
the one Amber's wild for.
I know. I'm like, I don't even want to talk about the other ones. I want this one.
I know, I'm like, but you know, you have to, like if you're just like a little taster, just a little sample. VIP, it is extended access, same thing. You get all that stuff, of course. The cool thing, there's two cool things. One is the live panels, right? So pretty much every speaker is participating in a live panel. Amber's on the one with multiple income streams. You have Kim Tolson on that one, Michelle Risser, Shauna Allen. Some like, it's just gonna be so fun. The whole thing of the live panel is, and if you can't be there live, you can pre-submit your questions too. We'll still answer it and record it for you. But you get to ask the speakers, you get to ask Amber your questions and get a behind the scenes look at her own experience of what's worked and what hasn't worked in building out multiple income streams. The other live panels are like retreats. So that one is like Patrick Cazal, Megan Gunnell, Gabrielle Giuliano Villani, Jess Zimmerman. There's like so many cool people, honestly. It's
Share
been
my
like
screen so they can
super,
see
super
that.
fun.
Yeah.
Couples intensives. There's a whole panel on couples intensives, integrative intensives. Ooh, are you sharing?
Yeah, I'm sharing the screen.
Yes. Thank you. So this is day one, and the day one is all about getting creative. So that's like that integrative stuff,
Uh,
which I
Healing justice
love.
and hip hop EMDR. Are you kidding me? That sounds amazing.
I know, right? It's so, so good.
And so many people I know want to learn to become speakers. Here you go. Mm.
I just posted about this in the Summit Facebook group, but I like Dominique's presentation is one of my favorites of the whole summit.
Uh,
Like it's so powerful. Whether you're like about speaking or not, like it will speak to you.
oh, cool.
Speak to you. Day two is all about going deep. On that day, we're having the couples intensive live panel and the live panel with therapists who have an intensive only practice.
Could Micah have a more beautiful headshot? Are you
I
kidding me?
know.
Jeez.
And Micah is a powerhouse. She talks about like inner child wounds
Mhm.
and how that shows up in our business. So, okay, right?
Love it.
Um, and then day three, it's like we couldn't decide. It's basically make money, more freedom, more joy.
Love
This
it.
is personally my favorite day. Look at all these lovely faces here. Amber, your cute picture. We have Kim Tolson, Megan Gunnell, Jenny Schottmiller. Ugh, I love all these people.
Yes.
I love them all. So the live panels that last day when we're focusing on money, we have the multiple income streams and then BIPOC therapists building wealth.
Mm. Amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing.
Yep. Day four is all about going from dream to reality. So that day I'm going to be doing some therapy intensive hot seat coaching
Oh,
for folks.
cool.
Yes. So if you get the VIP pass, you can apply to get on the hot seat. If you're like, I don't know if intensives are right for me, or I've tried it and I'm feeling a little bit stuck. We're going to do a group coaching session that day. Anybody can attend, but it's specifically for VIP folks. And then after that is the panel. Oh, wait, hold on a sec.
Go
Go
back
back
up.
up to these lovely faces.
There we go.
After that's the panel. These are the therapists. They're alumni of the Intensive Design Lab program. But
Oh,
it's a
cool.
chance. I know. They've all launched intensives in the last year. And so if you want to connect with somebody who has done it really, really recently, this is going to be the place where you can ask your, like, let's real talk here.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. And I would imagine, I'm going to just put you on the hot seat yourself. Like, if somebody's thinking about doing your paid for program after the summit, would they be able to
Yeah,
talk to these folks and be like, so tell me, did you really like it?
exactly.
Okay.
Basically, yeah, like how was it? Did it like how did it help? Were there gaps? Like all that kind of stuff.
Awesome. Awesome. What's
Then we'll
this?
take a break. Ah, yeah, so scholarship. I'm so excited. I'm offering a scholarship to one lucky summit attendee who's engaged in the process. They get to join the Intensive Design Lab Launch Guide program 100% free.
Wow, girl.
I
Wow.
know.
Wow. That is so cool.
So anyone can apply, and that's just fun. That's just fun.
That's
Um, then we're gonna do the grand finale training. This is where I'm really gonna go deep into intensive. So it's cultivating abundance, elevate your income, energy, and impact with therapy intensives.
okay, sweet. So this is where you're going to get into a lot of the nitty gritty that maybe hasn't been covered before. Okay.
Yep, yep. Yep,
Awesome.
that'll be the deep dive. And then immediately after we're doing the Ask Me Anything session on intensives, and the doors are gonna open to the launch guide program.
Amazing. Amazing, amazing,
Yay.
amazing. Dude, I'm so excited. Okay, I'm gonna
Oh
close.
wait, there's one thing I didn't say.
Okay,
See,
what?
the VIP people get all the videos, of course. They get to go to the live events during the summit week, but all the premium bonuses
Oh
from the
shoot.
speakers, right?
Hold on. Hold on. Are they listed on the page?
Yes. Well, on the VIP page. So not this one though.
Okay. Okay.
But when you sign up for your free ticket, you'll immediately get the offer. So be prepared. Like the biggest discount comes right after you click register. It's
Yeah, like cue into that, y'all.
$97.
The
Uh-huh.
price will change of the upgrades over the course of the launch. So if you know you want it, get it immediately because that's when it's going to be cheapest.
Yep. Yep. So VIP is valued at over $4,000
Yeah.
because all the speakers contributed like guides, mini courses, handbooks, like your worksheet series, Amber, is like gold. Seriously, they're so like I was like, this is amazing because I have it all because I like got to collect it all. So anyway, it's over $4,000 worth of stuff. And it's $97 when you enroll for your like free ticket. So
And that's if they do it quickly, though, I'm assuming.
yes,
Like it's going to
yes,
go up.
you get
Okay.
20 minutes.
Holy crap. Okay.
You can look through the thing. Like there's a
Okay.
whole page that like tells you all the things. So I'm like, just be prepared.
Yeah, yeah.
That's your deal. And
Okay.
then early birds all the way up until the summit starts.
Oh, sweet. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there's like a fast action,
Yeah.
super good discount. And
Super
then
fast.
there's early bird discount if you need a little time to marinate. And
Yep.
then your regular price after that, y'all. Your
Yep. If the
regular
summit
price
has
is
started,
really,
regular price. But it's still a steal.
yeah, it's still a steal. And you can do the freebie version too. So there's something at every entry point that you might possibly want. I'm
Exactly.
so stoked. I'm so stoked.
Yay! So
And
excited.
Cindy, don't call me out. She's like, I'm really enjoying the amount of tabs you have open. Girl, that's just one window of tabs. I
I
have
didn't
so,
even see. Was it at the top?
yeah.
Ooh, sometimes it's like, how does the computer even work like that? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm bad. I have lots of tabs open. Thank you so freaking much for coming and talking about this. And I feel even more hyped myself about
Oh.
being able to do these. Like, I can't imagine right now I'm on a break from my clinical practice. And I feel like if I go back to therapy one day, this is the model. I can't imagine doing it differently. And I think for me, there are times as a therapy client where weekly might be good for me. And there are mostly times where intensives are going to be the right thing for me. So I
Mm-hmm.
want as many people as possible to go out and get trained and know how to do this so that I can come to you as my therapist when I'm ready.
Yay. I love it. I know. I'm like, I want more therapists to offer it because I want to do it.
For real. For real.
Anyone taking clients?
Do you have an opening? I love it. All right,
Yay.
friends. We will talk to you later. Thank you so, so much. And Steph, I will connect with you on Boxa.
All right.
Bye, friends.
Sounds good. See ya.